we on soon, Dave?
Hey?
Are we on soon, are we?
Yeah, they said 4 minutes to go, about 3 minutes ago, so...
Yeah.
Okay. It's stage 2 of the Tour de France, Roubaix to Boulogne sur Mer. 203 kilometres of racing. These two riders have a lead at the moment of just a short lead. We're waiting for confirmation of what it is. They took off after the climb of Mont Cassel on the descent. That's Jackie Durand in the front, together with Steven Schwartz. We're just waiting for confirmation of the time gap between them. They've already picked up a special prime in Dunkirk, put up by the mayor, and that went to Dupont, who's here on the front. Sorry, Durand on the front, who is the champion of France. So these two riders anxious now because they're riding into quite a strong headwind. It's been a fairly tough day so far. We've had 3 climbs, and lying ahead of these riders, the final climb of the day, the Côte de la Hauteville, and that's just 5.5 kilometres from the finish, and it climbs right up to a very, very good vantage point for the sea down below, and the finish line there below. So here we are, the sprint coming up then for Gravelines. At least this one won't go to Abdul Jafarov. There's safety there because Abdul's already taken the first one. Who's going to get those few seconds bonus? And in fact, it goes to Jackie Durand yet again. So Durand from Schwartz takes the sprint at Gravelines, and there's yet another one to come up at Herbingen. The trouble was today that there were 3 special sprints, each carrying 6 seconds bonus. If Abdul Jafarov had taken all 3 of them, he'd have gained 18 seconds on Chris Boardman, and Abdul Jafarov started out this morning just 27 seconds down on Chris Boardman, and when we get the finishing line, the first man over the line gets 20 seconds bonus as well. So you can see that Abdul Jafarov today could have collected himself something like 48 seconds, and that would have been all sorts of trouble. Sorry, 38 seconds, which would have put him in the lead, really, as far as Bournemouth is concerned. But now, thankfully, says he, hand on heart, being a Brit, that 6 seconds has gone to Jackie Durand. Well, with me here, Stephen Roche, anxiously awaiting some information back to the race as well at the moment, Stephen, but these two seem to have done just the right thing now.
Well, of course, like from a Boardman point of view, they couldn't have done any better because the GAN team could not have expected this to happen, and they could not have wished for any better thing to happen, because with the Polti team, with Abdul Jafarov being so strong, and Abdul Jafarov being so strong on the sprint, and with also the fact that Nielsen's out and so is Jalabert being out, it means that they've very, very little competition now for the sprints. So it would have meant like automatically Abdul Jafarov getting the sprints. Here we have the sprint now of the bunch, and with the motorbike get out of the way, we'll see who's going for it. Abdul was there, but
yeah,
we don't know.
He and Baffy will have to wait for confirmation of that one. Yeah. That was close there between those two. So,
but I'm sure like Chris must be very, very happy, because this morning when he started out earlier on, Abdul Jafarov got the first sprint and Chris was nowhere to be seen, so I'm sure he was starting to calculate, saying that's 6 seconds off now, so his lead was coming down a lot very quickly, and he was possibly anticipating Abdul Jafarov getting the second sprint and possibly getting the stage win, so it would have definitely made him lose the jersey today. So the best thing in the world has happened to Chris so far for the moment.
Yep, of course, provided these two don't stay away. The gap now is 4 minutes and 40 seconds. It was over 5 minutes. I was waiting for confirmation. The latest one we got now is it's down to 4 minutes and 40 seconds. That's going to really put the cat amongst the pigeons. I'll have to check exactly where they're on GC, these two, but this fellow Durand is always likely to pop up and do something outrageous, isn't he?
Well, he did a reasonably good prologue the other day, and like, he has the French National Championship jersey on his back, and that, of course, will definitely lift him a little bit. And definitely tomorrow, the Castorama team will definitely do a good team time for us. So they cannot give him too much rope. But at the same time, like as you start turning around and into the finish for the last 40 kilometers, so the wind changes, and you get a very, very strong wind from the sea. So a group of riders riding behind will ride an awful lot faster than the lads in the front. And with the fact that they will have already been out there for almost 100 kilometers, so they will be very, very tired. So I'd say myself that they will be caught before the finish.
Well, more work then for the GAN team. They calculated just right yesterday. It looked like brinkmanship, but I spoke to Chris Boardman this morning. He said the team just worked. They went at full bore, as you said, Stephen. They rode to close the gap down, and they were able to do it without too much effort as far as they were concerned, so that certainly suited them yesterday. But today, with this strong headwind, it's going to make it all the more difficult. Whoever's going to do the chasing against those two men?
Well, we just heard back on the race radar that the time gap now has gone down to about 2 minutes or so. So it's very good for the GAN team. But the GAN team, I'm sure, don't want to spend too much energy today because of the team time trial tomorrow. If they use up too much energy today, well, then tomorrow in the team time trial, they're going to be a little bit just. and the slight chance of being beaten then by the MGGB guys who have Lucio on their team, who is also capable of taking the yellow jersey.
And Cyril Guimard, a very great tactician, this man, isn't he, telling his lad what to do?
Guimard is one of the last of the great Dreaded Sportives. There's a lot of other Dreaded Sportives in the scene at the moment, but Guimard is the most credible. He has an awful lot of qualifications behind him, and definitely, like, after having being with Greg LeMond, being with Laurent Fignon, Charlie Motte, now with Jackie Durand, he always seems to pick young riders and very rarely makes a mistake.
And of course he was one of the first that went to sort of ovalising the tubes on bicycles, wasn't it? Unusual sort of seat positions as well to try and reduce the wind resistance on bicycles, and also with that back saddle. They banned it in the end, didn't they? Wanted it was all streamlined, wasn't it, out the back, like a bullet almost? It was.
Guimard has always been a great tactician and also a technical man, because he's always looking for. He's one of the first team directors actually to have used the wind tunnel, and believes an awful lot in it. Of course, he has been able to use the wind tunnel because he has been with Renault in the previous years, and when Renault being the car manufacturers, like, they have a wind tunnel, and he was able to use it. So everything started off with Guimard using this wind tunnel, and other teams now have followed suit now since then.
In fact, it's Martinello that got it, not Baffy. Those two, I'm getting confused at the moment. I'll be a little more careful with this. Baffy not firing on all cylinders either. But Stephen mentioned that that was a bit close, wasn't it? Steve mentioned the fact that Jalabert and Nelson have not started this morning. The information we have that Jalabert, after that terrible crash yesterday when he went right over the top and hit his face on the tarmac, that he had a 4-hour operation on his jaw last night, and that Nilsson, I spoke to Theo de Roux from the no-mail team this morning, and he said that they're keeping him in hospital for 24 hours. He was certainly concussed yesterday, and if he isn't coming round to their best hopes, then they'll have to leave him in again for another 24 hours. But there's nothing else wrong. He hasn't broken any bones. He's just badly bruised as such. So if he can just overcome the problem of his concussion, then he should be back riding before very long. But both those two sprinters are out now.
Well, it's just for a little more information, going back to the crash yesterday. The policeman actually that was actually involved in the crash yesterday had admitted that he was actually taking a photograph, and he wasn't actually in his place, because normally the Coca-Cola bottles, which are every 25 yards on before the finish line, behind those Coca-Cola bottles is a place for the gendarme to stay. So he obviously, as we saw from our pictures yesterday, was not behind a Coca-Cola bottle, and he was well out to the left of the barriers, right in the way of the riders, and couldn't see the riders coming in so fast when he was looking through his camera.
So that great disappointment then, two of the big sprinters out, opening up the opportunities for Abdul Jafarov and Ludwig to have their own personal private battle as far as the green jersey is concerned. Watching these two riders now going in toward the finish, we're going to take a short break, come back in a couple of minutes. Yep. Riders swinging onto the main road in towards Boulogne now, and in the distance they'll be able to see the final hill of the day before very long. And further on down here, the road is very much like a roller coaster. We should get some tremendous shots from it as the riders go up and down, and the massive crowds that were gathering early this morning will be able to see these two riders here, Durand in that most unusual egg position, like he's a downhill skier, just zooms past Swartz, having come out of his slipstream.
He does have a terrible position, like going downhill. I've seen him going down some very, very long descents in the calls, and I asked myself, well, you know, if something happened, anything at all, if he punctured, if anything at all happened, he'd be on his neck. Like, I don't know, I could never do it.
That seems to be his attitude, doesn't it? He does learn breaks, he does the most unusual things, and
he's an unusual guy.
Yeah, he is a very pleasant chap too. Nice smiling fella too. So
getting back to the finish for the final 20 kilometres though, the straight is so long and roller coaster roads, and with a 2-minute gap, the riders behind will definitely see the break in the front.
Yeah, well that's what they've got to do on that climb up there, because once they go beyond there, it gets all tricky, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. And there's definitely, like I'd say, like 2 minutes on those long roads. Like, I'm sure this morning coming in, I calculated it must have been about 4 kilometres of dead straight road. It's just roller coaster road, so any group behind will definitely have the front group in sight.
Now they are safely onto the main road now, the early part of the group, all strung out.
The bunch is well strung out all the same, Dave. which is a good sign they are actually moving. We can prove it here. The gap has come down now to 1:19. So as we have 1, 2, 3, 4 of the Gann riders riding in the front, and actually you can see by the speed that they're going, they're not in business.
Yeah. One man I saw this morning in the what we call the village, where the various hospitality areas are for the main sponsors. I saw Duke Lassalle turn up this morning and walking around the area. Of course, he's not riding in the Tour this year, but his sort of skill and experience would be very useful to him. But they've got to a good team now. I think that they've got every chance. This is a long park to start the roller coaster. It even gets more up and down from this on, but you can certainly see
4 kilometres
well over a minute there. Yeah.
I clocked it this morning coming in. It was 4 kilometres.
Yeah, yeah.
So you know you can see like 4 kilometres is 5 minutes. So they would, like, it doesn't actually go no hidden rollers behind it. You can see dead straight for 4 kilometres. So anybody can be seen, and once of course the group behind will see how far or how near the breakaway group is, it'll definitely pull them on. But Duke Lassalle is actually commentating here for our local radio, and every morning he goes out and does 100 kilometres training, and even then he comments on the final 50 kilometres of the race.
Well, Boulogne is an old Roman city. That's why the roads are so straight coming out here. The Romans built the roads just dead straight, and they're even straighter than some of the motorways. But they're on a Roman road now, heading in towards Boulogne, a very famous port which many of the people from Great Britain use when they're coming over to the continent, their first taste of France, when they step off the boat here in Boulogne. Sitting down here at the commentary point, we can smell the sea and the fish, and watched them yesterday devour the oysters at Lille. There's no tomorrow first thing in the morning. We can oysters for breakfast.
We can also feel the cool wind coming off the sea, coming from England.
So can these riders now. They're going to get it, aren't they? Straight in their faces.
But they need it at the moment. Like the last 2 days have been so very hot that like if you keep riding that kind of heat every day, all of a sudden you just go downhill because it's so warm. You must keep drinking and drinking and drinking, and you just cannot keep it up. Whereas if you get a fresh day like today, whereas it's a little cooler, a little bit of wind, it revives the whole system and makes you helps you recover much quicker.
Yeah. Well, these riders here, the Gann team, on their Le Mans titanium bicycles, the exception being Chris Boardman, who's riding on an aluminium bicycle, welded aluminium bike. The gap 1:14 now, so they're only a couple of seconds out of it. But this is the hard part, because there is absolutely no shelter for the wind as far as these two riders are concerned. They're riding straight into the teeth, and it's very, very strong wind that has just not abated for the last couple of hours or so.
As they get closer to the sea, then the wind will also get stronger. Like it's the wind doesn't seem to be kind of coming in the same direction all the time. It's very changeable wind. It's in your face, it's on your side, it's on your back, but not so often on your back, but more or less on your side or on your face, which makes it more difficult for the front two riders to keep ahead. Then also we have the final hill at 7 kilometers to finish, which there possibly will not be too much wind in the face, but once you get over it, then it'll be definitely a head crosswind. So if anybody gets a small groove, a small gap, then it'll be very easy to hold it.
There we are. The prize of 25,000 francs awaiting the first man over the line here. Of course, every day that Boardman wears that yellow jersey, he also earns something like £600 a day just for wearing that yellow jersey. Going towards 25 kilometres to go. There it is. They must be waiting for that one, and they went away after 77 kilometres have been covered in the race, and there they are now. Still 25 kilometres to go from the finish.
Jackie Duron kind of straightens us back, because I'm sure after being away for so long, I'm sure it's starting to pay for it now, I'm sure. As you can see here from the pictures here, the roads are very, very flat. To the left and to the right, each side of you is just no trees, there's no shelter at all. So any wind you have, whether it's coming from your face, whether it's coming from the side, left or right, you still have it.
They've been riding then 100 kilometres in the lead on their own, these two riders, and that's 60 miles they've been out there on these tough conditions, and still this man Durand on the front, pushing around quite a big gear. He seemed to windmilling this one along into the wind, and after 60 miles these two riders, and the gap still over 1 minute. It was whittled down, one time it's 5 minutes, whittled down to less than 1 minute. And as they come up towards that, I pressed the watch before, and it's 1 minute and 4 seconds according to my watch, unofficial time, and they went under the 25 kilometre go band there.
I think like Jackie Giron is actually pushing a big gear for it, also because it's actually cooked the thing. He's not looking at him there a few minutes ago back on the screen. He wasn't he wasn't showing any signs of being very fresh. I think he was he had a word with Cyril Guimard there beside him as well, and I'm sure he was. You can see him here in the picture again. He doesn't look very fresh.
Jim Okovic's just gone up there as well to have a word with his teammate. I did see that the Motorola team actually went round a few days ago. They've been training on the team time trial course, and I think the first time I came over with Channel 4 to do the Tour de France in 1986, what was then the 711 team hadn't really sussed the course out, and they came round in towards the finishing area and they hit bars and things all over the place. They were just not coordinated at all, but this team Motorola developed out of that one is getting much better organised now, isn't it? And
it is.
A bit like any Kuiper coming on board as well to help Jim Okovic out. It's got all the, they're both up in the top echelon teams now, isn't it?
Yeah, like most teams now go out and look at the circuit for the team time trial before we come to Tour de France, because it's so important now. Like a team can lose so much time at team time trial.
With Rominger.
Exactly, yeah, and then he can lose out on the overall victory or an overall placing in the first 10 or even the first 5. I've seen that the Polti team now have actually taken over the command. I'm sure that the Gann team now can be very, very happy, because they know now that, well, 25 kilometres to go, our job is over. All we've got to do now is keep Chris to the front now, so in case there is a split in the group, at least Chris can be in the front.
And therefore the gap coming down all the time, and these are the roller coaster roads we're talking about. You see how they go up and down in the distance there, this Roman road. The mass crowds up there can see the riders coming towards them, and these two riders are very much now in sight. The gap having come down to, on my watch, 1 minute and 4 seconds.
1 minute and 4 seconds, David. Nothing is less than a kilometre. So like at the speed the boys are going behind, it'll be less than a kilometre. So on the straight road you can see like 2 or 3 kilometres. So it's I'm sure they can see them now.
It must be heartache though, as far as they're concerned. Now with Polti on the front, that's got to be good for Gann.
That's what I'm saying. Like Gann, I'm sure, been waiting for the last 25-30 kilometres, was hoping and praying that somebody would come along and give them a hand. Where now we've come under 25-kilometre sign, so the Polti team now have come to the front, and I'm sure Gann are saying, well, that's our job done for today. So all we got to do now is try and keep Chris up to the front. You can see him here behind the back of the screen here. Try and keep Chris to the front, so in case there is a break or a gap or a crash or something, that Chris hopefully will be either in the front of the group or definitely not behind the crash.
Interesting also though that the polka dot jersey at the front, we wouldn't normally see King of the Mountains up there, but Van Poppel's got that jersey today. It could be in with a shout for the sprint as well.
Well, Van Poppel, like as we all know, is a sprinter. I've never seen him so slim and so keen looking as I have seen him this year. He won a stage 2 weeks ago in the Midi Libre race in the south of France, where he was riding very, very well. And I think today, like, of course, we've been talking about Nielsen and Jalabert, saying that, well, the sprinters now are gone. There's only Museau and Abdou-Japarov. Well, we forgot about Van Poppel, I think, because he had the climber's jersey on. So I feel that Van Poppel is definitely there today, and I'm sure he has things in the back of his mind saying, well, this could be a stage for me today. And also Van Poppel, like, he doesn't need a team. Van Poppel prefers to find his own way through the sprints. Doesn't like, contrary to Abdou-Japarov, Abdou prefers to have his team lead him out and be taken to the finish in an armchair. Van Poppel says, take me to 10 kilometres, and after that, I'll look after myself.
Well, Polti on the front at the moment. According to my watch, Stephen, he's down to 39 seconds.
Here's a straight road here now. I'm sure they can see them now.
Yeah, they can.
Here we are.
That's it. So it's all over then, isn't it, for those two leaders?
Yeah.
What a shame. They've been away for 100 kilometres now. It looks like they've been called. What a wonderful sight this is. But the two leaders now climbing up this, what almost looks like a wall from here, and slightly exaggerated on our camera shot, but certainly the big field swarming towards them, and the officials telling all the traffic to get out, get out, get out.
It's very dangerous here today, because they're coming down a hill very, very fast, and all of a sudden hitting this uphill roller coaster. So the cars in the front are all going the same speed, and I call it like an accordion effect as well. The riders coming down so fast, they arrive so fast into the back of the cars, and the cars haven't got enough time to get away, so it caused like a traffic jam, and it's very, the cars must not interfere with the race.
So they're clearing them out now. The gendarmes have moved out various people. Most of the photographs have been moved forward. The yellow service car for Mavic is still, you see the one at the back there, that's the second neutral service car, but the one at the front is still just stuck in behind those two riders. They'll keep it there until the gap is down to 30 seconds, and then they'll pull it out. And the Pulte team on the front really clawing back now. They can see their quarry. It's a bit like the racing at the dog track when they let the hare go. When the dogs can see the hare, they damn well go. And now they can see the hare. There's two riders up in front, and this big pack then beginning to accelerate. That gap coming down all the time.
Like the group in front, the lads must be very careful now as well. That when as we see Johnny Bunyo now on our screen, he hadn't got a very good prologue the other day, and we ask ourselves, what's he doing here? Like, is he here for a win? Is he here to ride well? Is he here to ride for Roubalx-Boulgne? It's very.
There's your devil, your friend.
Yeah, the Diablo.
How long's he been on the tour? I remember seeing him several times running out there. We see him in the mountains with that trident running up the side of the rider. He's a funny character, isn't he?
No, he's an incredible man. I don't know like what kind of kick he gets out of it, like, but every year we see him. Every year he has a different bike, and now the bike he has a sponsor actually sponsored the bike, and the wheels are all full of footballs to kind of celebrate for the World Cup. So he's a very he invents things. As Jackie Duran says to Steph, well.
Oh, isn't that?
There we are.
What a great gesture.
Yeah, it's finished.
Yeah, what a gesture.
Yeah.
Well, our heart goes out to those two riders who really given us something to talk about today. Will they, won't they, all the way through, and when they pushed the lead back up to well over 2 minutes, the chances were there, but the wind's got them, and they've done a great ride there. Jackie Durand for Castorama in the French national jersey in the front, the blue, white and red. Behind the Motorola rider, Stephen Schwartz from New Zealand. Two riders who couldn't come from further apart than New Zealand and France in terms of mileage. Of course, the man who's come here furthest of all is Phil Anderson, according to the map anyway. I suppose I don't know how they measured out New Zealand being shorter than Australia, but Phil yesterday had a special prize. A thumping great lump of marble on the top was a brass bicycle he's carrying around with him, being the rider that had come the furthest to race. Well, I think perhaps he might as well pass it over to Steve as some sort of prize for today's effort. And Pulte had done the job magnificently now.
Well, like Duran, his problem now is that they've been away for so long, and I'm sure they're tired, that the speed is going to go up so fast now with the crosswinds and everything else. They may not have the power to be able to stay in the bunch, so they have to be very, very careful now not to get dropped, which would be very disappointing to get dropped after being away for so long. As I always remember also, for example, I remember one race I rode with a teammate of mine, Eddie Skippers. Eddie Skippers had been away all day in a group, and like 220-kilometre race, been away for 200 kilometres, getting caught and been dropped again, and coming in 2 minutes behind the group. Yeah. And everybody's saying, hey, Skippers, well, change jobs. You know, where the poor lad had him out there all day. But because you're standing on the start on the finish line, nobody knows what's actually going on. So, unfortunately, people sometimes can say bad things, you know.
Well, that's the problem then of bike racing, which we hope doesn't happen to those two riders at the back. The Pulte team on the front for Abdul-Japarov, the rest of the sprinters in this field. Now there's Abdul-Japarov in the green, nicely positioned up near the front. You can see also the Mercatone Uno team coming forward. They've been going rather well, and yesterday that sprint in the finish, Baffy is supposed to be their #1 sprinter, but they seem to be doing quite well at the moment with Martinelli, and he was up there yesterday as well with the sprint too. There were just 19 kilometres to go, so let's say it was 20 kilometres down the road when the two riders got caught. So quickly looking now, they went away up to 77 kilometres. So in fact, they did 106 kilometres, according to my calculation, in the lead, and that's just over 60 miles to no avail.
It's no mean feat when you think of the weather conditions today. There's not as much heat as there has been the last couple of days, but definitely with the wind being most of the time being head-on wind, it's a very good feat, and well done, lads. Now the road starts twisting and turning. We see coming down here to roundabouts, like you were saying earlier on, Dave, that the final, before actually getting to the final 5-6 kilometres, there's an awful lot of twists and turns and roundabouts, so you have to be in the front 20-25 riders to not to be affected by it, and it's the best place to be actually. If you can be in the first 20, it's the best place to be.
You also that flag down there, blue one, in fact just moved off the screen. I'm talking about it, just showing the wind on the flag. ZG trying to get away at the moment as well. Well, Pulte done all the work, and now the attacks are going to come thick and fast. There's quite a number of ways on the run-in when Phil can leap off the front, and that will be a bit disappointing as far as sprinters are concerned, and their lead-out men and their team captain have got to keep pulling back these attempts to go off the front.
This actually, just looking at the bunch there today now, Jackie Duran did a great ride, but at the same time, all this Castorama team have been sitting on, and there are a lot of riders in the Castorama team capable of clipping off in the final kilometres. And as I'm saying, I'm just thinking about Thierry Murray. I would like to see. I would not be surprised in the final today, especially at the final hill, if Thierry Murray doesn't attack, because if you remember, Thierry Murray is a guy who's very good at prologues, very good at short distance riding, and very much capable of taking off in the final kilometre and staying away. Also, he lives not too far from here.
Yeah, it's a strong man's hill, that one, isn't it? It really is. Yeah,
it's a wide open road, just straight up in front of you. So, like, I wouldn't be. Is that Thierry Murray on the front?
Certainly got Castorama. It does look a bit like Thierry Murray from here. So certainly he's going again, but
it is Thierry Murray. Yeah. As I was talking.
What a character.
He lives near here. He lives up in Cannes, which is about 150 kilometres or so from here. Yeah. If you remember last year when he rode his the longest stage ever, solo ride on the stage into Le Havre, it was near his hometown. He won the stage, so he's kind of he transforms himself when he's riding home.
Well, we've seen those rides out for 106 kilometres now. Well, Thierry Murray did 234 kilometres on his own that day to win the stage, and looks like
a quality rider.
It's amazing that they're doing this jumping around at the moment. Are they trying to pull back Murray? He's still out there. Well, let's get another shot going.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like they haven't got a man on the front. They must keep riding a tempo on the front. So if they can get a man on the front, it means somebody else must ride to get them back. So they'll only really kind of concentrate on keeping the bunch together when you get to 10 kilometres to go.
It is breaking up in no uncertain terms now. They're jumping all over the place, so the little gaps are coming in this field. Oh, zigzag, yeah, Sergi Polti again. So Polti being up there, because Sergi Mobley also been trying to go away. The different teams firing men off one after another one going away down that far side. I think is that Bauer. It's his sort of tactics.
It is, yeah.
It is
Steve Bauer. Steve always rides after the motorbike. trying to get the slipstream.
Don't you all?
But Steve always kind of jumps after the motorbike and tries to get to the slipstream. And because he's being such a strong rider and such a powerful rider, he can get onto the wheel of the motorbike very, very easy.
And Bauer still on the front, and the field are thundering after him. This is what's going to happen all the way through now. One after the other, riders are going to try and go away and hope the elastic breaks. But ever watchful, the teams who really want to get their fast men in to sprint for the finish, they've got to do the pulling back. Actually, Motorol got quite a number of riders capable of doing it, because Anderson's another one who's very good at zooming up in the last sort of 5 kilometres, isn't he?
He is definitely. Phil is also going very well at the moment. Also, we saw him earlier on, though, going back for Lance Armstrong when he crashed. So he's possibly more of a domestic here in the Tour de France. So he may have orders just to make sure that Lance doesn't get left behind anywhere. And another one we might even see in the finish will be Lance Armstrong, because he's nothing to lose here. So with it being a very, very difficult finish, Lance Armstrong himself could be up there somewhere. And
that climb too is an Armstrong type climb. It's a power climb, isn't that one?
Definitely. Like there are a number of riders here. That's actually Bontempi we see here. Another man capable of jumping away in the final. So there's a lot of lads here capable of jumping away on the final hill.
So all the time this is going on, what's happening? What would be the sort of instructions to the GAN riders and Bournemouth? What would they be working out?
Well, it depends on who would be in the front. Like if you get like I said, Bontempi in the front, well then Bontempi would say, well, it doesn't matter. Like, but when you have riders that are capable of beating the GAN team in the team time trial tomorrow, or someone that's well placed in the general GC classification, then you got to go after them straight away. But I'm sure at this stage the GAN are more or less hoping and definitely kind of betting that the Polti team will be riding. Like they must now hope that anytime a group goes away, there's no Polti rider in it, so that the Polti riders must ride after the breakaway groups.
Well, in this little group at the moment is the fellow last but one in this group here. That's Leon Bonbon. He's the fellow who also got put straight into the race on the Friday night. Didn't expect to be riding when.
Exactly, one of their riders was sick or something. Right, yes. I was down at the medical test on Friday, and the doctor says, I was joking, he says, oh, I'm waiting for someone to come along in case somebody's absent, then they can be first reserve. And the guy from the ZG said, Stephen, just a man, you can ride for us, we've one man missing. And apparently this man here came in from Italy then on the evening plane for the medical test and rode on the Saturday the prologue.
Yeah. So
this year's Tour de France has got off to a very strange start. With that out of Laurels in first of all, with then him, and then the crash yesterday. So far, the Tour de France has been we've had an awful lot to talk about.
Well, here's Jan van Boom still on the front again. He probably thought he was going to watch on television. He's actually riding the thing now. None of the young riders that Jan Rouse has picked up. Jan, a very crafty man when it comes to seeing new talent. He's got to in the Word Perfect team. Well, young riders in because he's got a lot of experienced older riders, hasn't he now, as far as World Perfect's concerned? He needs some of these young lads in it. But
well, he has the experienced riders there because an experienced rider will always use the experience to get him through to the front, to get him through bad periods. Whereas he must take on young lads as well to try and develop them while those older lads are there, because a young lad can only develop from watching and listening to the older riders. And if he waits until the older riders are too old, then he can't tell the young riders anything at all, and the young riders won't even listen to them. So it's better what Jan Lads is doing. He actually has 3/4 of his team young lads, and the other quarter good riders, active riders, but on a second generation. Capucci in the front.
Oh, he's another fellow who could go jumping around all over the place, isn't he?
Well, I wouldn't say he has the form at the moment. Actually, it's Phil Anderson as wheel there as well. So, and the Motorola team, because they've been here for so long with training for the team time trial and what have you, they possibly know this area very, very well. So they're possibly hoping that maybe one of them might be able to get away. And it helps, of course, when you know the area.
Well, yes, Leon van Boom, we're talking about, he's just 22 years of age, and yet again, they're jumping all over the place, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah. Looks once again like another Motorola rider. It is, yeah. Like, well, I'm sure.
Frankie Andreau's also in good form this year too. So
yeah.
I don't know. They've got so many aces to throw out. They're probably just, look at it one at a time. One.
Well, I think they haven't really got much chance of figuring in the overall classification Motorola. So I'm sure they have their team tactics will be to get away whenever you can.
And on the front then, Paul Van Poppel, yes, he actually in this polka dot jersey in an unusual position is also quite capable of going away. Probably would normally wait for the sprint, but the field then closing up on him very rapidly. Van Poppel gone to the front, looking back now. There's no break, but Chiesa coming through, also having a go. Running in towards the finish at Boulogne. The twisted little narrow roads lie ahead of these riders. They're coming in then towards the finish. Let me quickly update you what's happened so far. In the first sprint today, Abdou Jafarov got that one. We then went over 3 climbs. De Klerk took all 3 on the trot. Then the sprint at Gravelines was taken by Durand, who'd been away with squads. They went about to 77 kilometres have been covered. They were in the lead for over 100 kilometres, over 60 miles. Durand and Schwab were away, and then over the final few kilometres we've just seen them caught, and now the action is going flat out, and the field closing back up again on Jean-Paul Van Poppel and Chiesa. But as ever, the
going away there.
man, yes,
Phil Anderson is there.
Gap, yes.
Phil,
amazing, isn't
Chiesa. That's Fidanza, no? There's 4 very good riders there, Dave. They're only going to put their heads together. They go a long way.
Just Phil Anderson, yeah.
No, it's André Perron again.
Oh, Perron, yes, yeah.
And Perron's a guy, remember we saw him in the prologue, he actually fell off yesterday in that final crash.
Right.
And it's a good rider. We haven't heard very much about him over the last rest of the season, but he seems to have come through from nowhere.
In the prologue time trial, he's leading for an awful long time. He's lying 12th overall at the moment, 34 seconds down on board. He led the prologue for an awful long time before the big top men came in.
Well, I can't see the Gann team letting him go very far, or for that matter, the Pulta team. But the Pulta team hoping that Abdou Jafarov might be able to get a jersey in the next day or two. It's Peter Leclerc, is it?
Yeah, we've got Peter Clerc again, yes.
Yeah.
Well, that little climb will suit him towards the end.
Well, yeah, and he's there because Van Poppel is there. This is why Van Poppel, I'm sure, went away, because he wouldn't mind holding on to trying to hold on to the mountains jersey. So he thought by getting away, if he can come into the Grand Prix, the final Grand Prix of the mountains, that if he wins, he maybe get more points. So the Clerc thought, well, if Van Poppel gets more points, that they jeopardise his chance of holding the jersey for a day or two. So he thought, well, Van Poppel's gone, I got to go.
Well, Van Poppel's got a hell of a job, because de Klerk got 5 points on Montrouge, 5 points on Mont Le Cap. They're giving 10 points on Mont Cassel. So he's got 20 points so far. The next climb is only a 4th category climb, so there's only 5 points at stake, and Van Poppel missed all the other points. So I think that he's doing the right thing by going up here at the moment to keep an eye on Van Poppel, but Van Poppel probably thinking more of a stage victory. But there's a group of them. 2:07 Petito they got down there.
No, they're wrong, Dave. They're wrong. Because Petito's a big guy. So it's definitely not Petito.
Well, some more coming up anyway at the moment. So certainly Chiesa in there at the moment.
There's guys coming up from behind now as well. It's getting very...
Will it get unwieldy then if we get too many riders in?
When you get too many riders in, it's good and it's bad. If the riders keep riding, then it's okay. But what happens then behind is everyone else wants to get across. Like you have 20 odd teams in the race, and everyone wants to have a rider in the front. So when you have riders sitting on, then other riders then don't want to ride. So it means that there's less cooperation between the riders. So and then they go slower and slower, and then eventually they're caught. Which we can see is happening now, you see.
Yeah.
Peter Clark is pulling over and saying, come through, lads.
They're not bothering to come through either.
No. But still the gap is there, though, so this is the problem with modern cycling, Dave. You know, the lads get away. When they get away, they don't want to ride. And we have Uwe Rab there as well, so I'm sure Van Poppel will not be very happy to have him around because he's a very good sprinter as well. He's a very good sprinter as well, huh?
Oops, crash with the lamprey.
No,
no, it's a puncture.
That's ridiculous doing that. You see what happens there? There's 3 lads stopped for 1 puncture because they're giving a wheel. It's not a good thing to do because the cars are behind. So if one rider stops, changes the wheel, and then the other lads let them slip out the back of the bunch, they can wait for your man coming up. But now there's 3 lads stops, that means that your man's going to be short 3 teammates to help him get back onto the group again. So that only happens. You only change a wheel from a friend when you're in a mountain stage or when the team's cars are not directly behind you.
Looks like Andrew Jaffro's fighting his way up here as well. He's no mean slouch when it comes to thumping up the climbs. So Andrew Jaffro moving up, recognised he's got to stay in contention as well. So Andrew Jaffro it is that's come up to this little group, and now we've got 10 kilometres to go. Really are stretched out. Hammer and tongs.
That's Petito.
Yep, it is Petito, 2:07.
That's it now, yeah.
Mercanton Uno.
Some of these Italians' names are very much alike. And he has a gap as well, but it'd be very difficult for him to hold the gap on his own because it's still a very much roller coaster roads coming in the road, and there'll definitely be a lot of crosswinds.
Now, shortly after this little tunnel, if I remember correctly, there's a very nasty right-hander, very sharp downhill, and extremely sharp, complete right-hander, which I thought was going to be a rather nasty place for the whole field to go around. So 1 or 2 men off the front would find that advantage, and it sort of kinks around the lanes again. Keep our fingers crossed them all getting round in one piece.
Well, the Gantt team now have more or less resigned themselves now to hoping that the Polta team will ride to the finish, whereas hopefully that the Polta team are not waiting for the Gantt team to come along, because if everyone's waiting for everybody else to come along, somebody else might get away to the finish.
And that's just what's happened now at the moment. There's one rider, but the gap only about 10 seconds as such. On the best part of the course where they can still see him, desperately hoping to duck and dive, out of sight, out of mind.
But Roberto Petito is a very, very good lone rider, so he could hold off I think the wind wasn't so strong. But with the wind being so strong, definitely the last 5 kilometres, they're definitely out to have a go for the stage today, definitely. Laurent Desbiens, maybe.
Yeah, he's blown. Because Desbiens is a local man too, isn't he? I saw big signs out, Desbiens fan club and things all over the place today. Yeah.
He's a very, very good rider, Laurent Desbiens. He's from not too far from here. He's from Dunkirk, but he's come to the fore in the last 2 years, and definitely in small stage races, he's definitely had good rides. And last year, actually, he rode last year Tour de France and rode well and finished well. So he cannot be led away either. I'm sure he knows this finish very well, because if you know this finish very, very well, I'm sure you know the right place to go away on. It could be a great advantage. The attacks now are are on everywhere.
They're coming from all directions, aren't they? Looks like the cavalry coming down.
There's numbers of attacks now going along, and this will be the way it'll be now right to the finish now, because nobody is actually taking the race on their hands. Like we thought, like the Pulte team would have kind of controlled everything from the last 25 kilometres in, but as you can see, for the moment, they just haven't done it. Looks like Richard Varank.
Yeah, it is Varank, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
It is, yeah.
And the short little sharp climbs will suit him too. At one time he's taken over the King of the Mountains jersey in the Tour de France.
All as you can see here, the gradient now is going up, and from here on to the finish now it's full of these kind of this straight, this sharp climbs.
This is going to stretch the legs somewhat.
See who that is in the front now, but whoever it is having a very good job.
I remember seeing that enormous yellow shirt.
That's the biggest yellow jersey in the world.
It's even bigger than my jersey.
Yeah, and you're a big man, Dave, huh?
Yeah, it's enormous. I saw that this morning, it's tremendous. ZG Mobley on the front, isn't it?
Not Baffy, is this, no?
One of the ZG lads.
You see the back of the bunch here, you see the difference between the front and the back. The front of the lads are really flying, and the back are underneath.
There'll be a few riders coming off the back today, I'm sure. And Armstrong third from the front here as well, being taken up. I think is that Mejia with him as well. No. But certainly Armstrong is third back from this little group at the front at the moment. That's a good move for him. Still the attacks are coming thick and fast. Armstrong moving up to about second or third in line then, but not managed to jump across. So they're up the short, sharp little climb and past the Citadel.
The group has split, Dave. Looking down from the helicopter, there are several groups, but it's still another 6-7 kilometres to go, and it's very twisty and turny, so the groups could go back together again.
Yep. And it's
Girotto, Massimo Girotto.
Yes, Girotto. He's always done this. He's another one that goes to
He's a flyer. Every year he wins the stage in Tour de France. Nearly every year.
Winner, of course, the Wincanton race in England as well.
Yeah. He's a rider that I remember we rode 10 time trials together, and I was very happy to be on his wheel sometimes. Like, he's a great shelter, great turn of speed, and definitely capable of staying away to the finish today.
That big climb up towards the top of the mountain and Boulogne itself. They're going to go out of the town by the way and curve right the way around the outskirts of the town and come straight back down in towards the Roubalx-Boulgne sur Mer, the actual seafront itself.
It's very difficult to stay away, Dave. Even though with the seafront here, with the wind, we see the wind is not getting any weaker since we started commentating. It's very, very strong, so it'll be a very difficult task for him to stay away in his own. He hasn't got very much, he only has 100 yards or so.
I'm trying to where that right-hand turn was that I saw. Perhaps it's further back. I certainly saw a nasty one, but I know it gets a bit thin, a bit narrow, the road down on here, but he's doing just the right thing again. Very strong man indeed.
I'd say now, Dave, the way it's looking at the moment, I'd say it'll more than likely be a bunch sprint, because I would have thought that the final hill would have done more damage, and I would have thought that there would have been maybe one guy, one strong guy would have gotten away and made a good gap maybe. Girotto has made a good gap, but not good enough, I think, to hold on. As you can see, the crowds are out in the numbers. Like I said, if we will see from our cameras now as we come down towards the seafront, the number of people. Incredible.
Still hanging on though, Girotto out in the front, and it looks like the gap
is coming up
growing,
from the group.
But two more coming up to as well. They're all over the place, aren't they?
They are, yeah. But unfortunately, now what will happen now is they'll all get onto them and they'll all start looking at each other.
And then
they'll be caught. That's the unfortunate thing. Like, he hasn't got very far to go, but it's possibly a kilometre or two too far. There's a Pulte rider in there as well, which is a good thing, because with the Pulte having a team rider in the front, it means that they will not ride in the front behind, so it'll be up to the GAN maybe to ride.
So looks like Girotto might well be caught. He just won a stage this year in the Tour of Italy as well. He wanted one to add to, and is that a skivvy come across?
Yeah. Skibby.
Oh,
that's a good move now.
Yeah, it's
that's
good.
Skibby's will ride well, so will Girotto, but unfortunately there's a Pulte rider sitting on the wheel. He won't ride because Abdul-Jabbarov's behind, and that of course, well, the other riders say, well, the hell, I'm not going to ride. If I ride now, and the other guy will only win, so they will only ride if the whole three of them ride together, I think.
And of course, if these three get away now, as far as Boulgne's concerned in that main pack, I'm just having a look down here. The 20 seconds, they come acting very quickly indeed. Look at the time bonuses as such. We'll have to check on these ones, but none of these seem to be of any great threat to Boulgne. Provided, of course, Boulgne is in that main group. He had to climb that short, sharp climb as well with the rest of them. And that's what I think he likes a powerful hill anyway.
Yeah, but Boardman, there's no problem to Boardman.
No, I didn't say that.
So at the moment, no problem. You see here the Pulte rider is not very willing to go through. He's going through, but only rolling through, as you can see.
Just rolls, yeah.
Like Girotto and Skibby are riding very, very hard, but the Pulte rider is not doing his fair share, really. Like Girotto and Skibby are two very fast finishers. The gap was opening up with 4 kilometres to go, David. Maybe
they might still have made the right move, mightn't they?
They might have made the right move.
Well, it's a good move as far as he's concerned then. Won the stage last year in the Tour. That's André Perron for Pulte. That's the lad who was doing well in the time trial. So Perron...
He's showing great promise.
Now then, another quick look down here, because Perron, you see, 34 seconds. No, it's still, if Boulgne's in that main pack, he's all right, because he's the best place.
Well, depends. If he wins, he gets a bonus.
20-second bonus. He's been 40 seconds.
Plus the gap. Plus the gap, so he...
Yes.
Here, they're looking at it now to finish. So, the group coming up now. Group coming across with Capucci.
Claudia, the whole thing is absolutely broken apart the seam, and Olano, the Spanish champions there, looks like Ransom Pansek, isn't it? Yeah, Pansek.
Pansek. He's having a good go. Pansek is having a very good season this year as well.
And Claudia
Capucci's going after him, yeah.
Well, the question on, I know, every British viewer's lips is, where is Chris Boardman? Well, we've got the cameras running up and down the front to see who's going to win this particular race, and we're going to have to watch the clock very closely indeed when the group comes in to find where he is and what the gap is, and taking away those 20 vital seconds of the first man over the line, 12 for second and 8 for second places. Boardman going into this day's race, 15 seconds ahead of Indurain. Roman go 19 back, but they won't be in there with a sprint now. Just 2 kilometres to go.
Capucci's holding on, but the group, as you can see behind, are coming. The main group is actually coming onto the small breakaway group. It's still, I think, it's going to be very, very near to a bunch sprint. Unfortunately, Capucci, he's riding on his own, but what happens is the group having so much momentum going behind, we're getting faster and faster and faster. And unfortunately, Capucci, after making this effort, will have very little power left in the finish.
They're down right alongside the seafront now, and the big bunch is beginning to swing up as well. They'll soon see the 1 kilometre to go.
It's a very, very dangerous roundabout as well, about 500 metres to go. So be very, very careful on it as well.
It narrows down suddenly, doesn't it? Yes. And it's a long sweeping right-hander into the finish, a bit less of a sharp bend than we had yesterday when the policeman got thumped in the sprint finish. So long drawn-out line of riders.
As they go to the kilometre line, 1 kilometre to go sign. Here's the roundabout there now. Oh, they gone through, it's okay.
On the front still, Telecom working hard for Ludwig. Both close up there. Ludwig took second place yesterday. We had Abdul-Jabbarov, who wears the green jersey. Abdul-Jabbarov in green, and the pink jersey is that of Ludwig. The big bunch behind them, so it looks like most of them are still. I can see Ludwig in second place. Abdul-Jabbarov has gone on to Ludwig's wheel as well. Still the big laid out for Telecom, and still in there in second place was Ludwig, fighting down this finishing straight. All spread across it. It's a long lead out, and Abdul-Jabbarov has made a move, yet he's still sat in behind Ludwig, and the rest are coming up very quickly indeed. We can see 4 of the yellow jerseys coming down.
Boardman's there.
According to Stephen, you can see Boardman there. The lead-out man has suddenly gone over, but it's not going to be. It looks like Nino from the the Kelme team as Abdul Jafrov starts to go for the line. Abdul Jafrov still on the front, he's thrown his hands up, and Van Poppel throws his bike at the line. Jean-Paul Van Poppel went for it. Abdul Jafrov was not happy with some tactics going round about him, but Van Poppel, to me, took it in first place. And Stephen is yep, he's done it.
Chris is coming, okay. So Chris holds the jersey for another day.
What happened there with Abdul Jafrov is very different outfit. Let's watch.
He got boxed in, I think. He got boxed in.
No, look, he's saying something about I think that's, the Kelme rider has done something he's not happy with.
Yeah.
He stopped
I think before we got on the screen, I think he actually pulled in on Abdul.
Well, Van Poppel throwing his bike at the line. Did he get it, or did it go to Ludwig on the far side? It's almost a dead leap. I think Van Poppel, but
yeah, very millimeter.
And that's Martin Elliott in third spot. So we'll look at this one again. Now, what does Abdul Jafrov do? He's still sprinting here.
Yeah, the Colombian is coming in on him, I think. But
no, he flicks his bike.
Yeah.
The elbows don't touch at all.
Yeah.
He's still going now. Look.
Yeah.
I know he's saying like, come on, come on.
He's looking for an excuse, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
He didn't get touched at all.
He's no reason to be angry.
He didn't get. Let's further back here.
No,
there's no reason. But Ludwig on the left-hand side. Van Poppel comes very late, and Van Poppel, well, we'll have to wait for the official result down here on our little printout.
even though there was the hill wasn't very hard towards the end, there was still a group off the back.
Picture here of that sprint finish between Van Poppel on the right and Ludwig on the left. Looks like Ludwig might have had a second place for the second day in succession. He was pipped to the post yesterday, Ludwig was, by Abdul Jafrov in the green jersey. But this time Van Poppel sprinting in the polka dot jersey of King of the Mountains. He will have lost the King of the Mountains jersey today to Peter de Klerk, but certainly I think he has the satisfaction of having won that stage.
Van Poppel is a rider who has been on the brink for the last 2 years, really. He's had a lot of ups and downs. But see where he comes from. He comes back here on the screen. He's come back from more than one length back. Like, it's incredible power. Ludwig is noted to have incredible power, but if you watch Van Poppel now, how fast he comes back on him, and he just pips him on the line. I think he pips him on the line anyway. It'll be down to not the official result, but
it's a skill, isn't it, these sprints, to be able to go and go again and go again when everybody else is dying. They've got this ability to thrust on the pedal, haven't they?
The lads can be dying and all of a sudden come to the line and they go across. It's amazing how a sprinter can always, it could be maybe, the guy could be dead 100 yards from the line, and all of a sudden the sprinter's going and bam, get another urge of power, and they can just throw the bike ahead of them to win a sprint.
Well, Jean-Paul Van Poppel so far has won some 8 stages in the Tour de France. This could be his 9th one. He won the stage in the Tour of Spain earlier this year. To add to the 6 he'd won already. So Jean-Paul Van Poppel, one of those demon sprinters. Now, looks like he's probably got the one in Boulogne. Shot from a helicopter, that route. They came over this big climb of the hill, dropped down, and amazingly the group all got together. 1 or 2 riders came in off the back, that final climb, sapping the strength of their leg. Did you see where Durand and Schwartz got to? Did they come in?
No, they were in the front group.
They were?
They were in they found enough reserves to finish in the front group. The front group was very, very long, but long and strung out, but they were in the front group all right.
And 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So I got another 20 riders coming in. Oh, Schwartz had just come in, actually.
Yeah.
So
Schwartz was left. I was saying earlier on that they would find it difficult, but I thought maybe Durand might have found himself behind.
And it's confirmed on our screens. You can see it too. Jean-Paul Van Poppel, winner of the stage in 5 hours, 5 minutes and 40 seconds. Ludwig, second for the second day in succession. Martinello, third. Well, he was in there yesterday in that crash as well, Martinello, so he's obviously going to be a challenger for the points competition in the Tour. And let's have a look, Dave. Martinello was in 4th spot yesterday in the sprint, so he's going to get himself some more points. Let's have a look further back now to see why Abdul Jafrov was complaining. I can't see at all here. Look, there's nothing to say.
No reason whatsoever for him to do it. The only thing would be possibly to like a moan and groan about something maybe. Abdu, that's the way he is. Like I rode in Carrera team with him for 2 years, and he's a very, very nice guy, but he's very moody. The small little thing.
Yeah. Of course, the man that he was waving his hands at, the Kelmy sprinter, is this fellow Ado. He's only a young rider, Angel Ado, and the Spanish aren't known for sprinting. We don't normally see a Kelmy jersey in the front here, but that lad was going extremely well in the Tour of Italy as well. And here he is now, battling out with the big men at the front. Doesn't get it quite right, but again, a young rider. I'm sure
he was keeping his line. He wasn't.
Yeah.
You see, Abdu was going left to the right, whereas he's actually keeping his line. He's riding normally.
Well, so another exciting sprint finish. This time, nobody has had a comeuppance like we had yesterday. Disastrous finish with that enormous crash. They all come home safe and sound, and in the midst of that pack, you see them come across the line, is Chris Boardman in the yellow jersey. Tomorrow, then, it is the team time trial of 66.5 kilometres. Join us tomorrow on Eurosport to see if Boardman can keep the yellow on his way to Great Britain. Myself, David Oates, Stephen Roach, bye-bye.